The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. Valero Texas Open Bets, one and done, preview, breakdown, course, stats. We got it all for you. Geoff Fienberg in studio with me to break this all down. What's up?
I'm doing good. It's almost time. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it's almost that time of year. We're like a week away.
Yeah.
Next Monday, people will be watching the Masters breakdown show. Although this Friday, they'll get to watch the mega DraftKings Masters preview with Ben Raza and Rick Gaiman and a slew of others. There are others contributing to the Masters show this year. And I'll have over $1,000 in giveaways for Masters Week. So you may just want to tune in for that.
Last year, a supporter won the $1 million.
That is true. Drew Matthews, who was actually on tomorrow's show breaking down the Valero.
Yeah.
He was unavailable for Masters Week. I don't think he wants to give away his secrets. He's going to the Masters. Now that he's a millionaire, he can just go to the Masters. He doesn't need to watch from home and like sweat out $1 million. Although I believe he was at his wedding last year and then found out that he won, which is just amazing. Anyway, I have winners from last week. People actually, there's still a draw for this one too. If you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, here's what you do. There's two ways to do it. Smash the like button for the episode, leave your DraftKings handle in the comments section, and tell me which sleeper this week, a guy from beyond 100 to 1, you think has the best chance, not to win, but to come inside the top 5. I mean, you might think they're going to win, but come inside the top 5, 101 beyond. It's one way to do it. Also, leave an iTunes review, 5 stars. You can do that on Stitcher. You can do that on Spotify as well. DraftKings handle something nice about the show. You too will be in a draw for 20 DK bucks. The winners from last week, we got Puck Bond 007, He Hate Me 14, K Rich 25, Free Drop Billy, Stevo 7052, Mar Hoopster is one of them. SC Vols 22 and N Falbo 83 are all the winners of 20 DK bucks. You didn't win.
I didn't enter.
No, you didn't, did you? You should enter. You get yourself 20 DK bucks potentially in a draw. Although I think if I drew your name out, people would think that I was cheating.
Yeah, like
so
does Paul enter? Paul doesn't enter.
I don't know if Paul enters or not. He's never been drawn
If you
out.
drew his name out, you'd have to draw, you know, the burner accounts.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we're not even savvy enough to have the Cust would be the one probably entering like 38 times. He's the one with all the burner accounts. He has the hot one and done picks and he has the burner accounts. And as we found out this week that he didn't even enter that bet with us. No wonder he's doing so well. He's leaving
This guy, man.
He has now picked 2 winners. He had Kuchar at the match play and he's down money for the year. Because he bet me on that stupid hole-in-one bet.
And I was like just personally annoyed, like in our little trifecta that like, I had Molinari. I can't even make a cent on Tim. Winning that one and done, it was, explain, it feels like the super contest. Like you just got to go on a run, like a run Tim didn't even think in his wildest dreams he could probably be on. But, it was almost like could win money if it just, beat you two. But now I don't even have to beat Tim anymore.
I'm shocked that he actually ended up entering the one and done because it was going to be like that year that he went perfect in Survivor, went 16 or 17 and 0, and then didn't win a cent on it. Whenever he has there's the ability to make a lot of money, yet Tim does not take advantage of that, his picks aren't so bad. It's when anything is on the line that it starts becoming problematic.
Fair enough, but listen, he changed his strategy and it's doing well. And even match play, Kuchar's a great player. He's got a great match play history, but in terms of world ranking and player he had left, he could have gone to much higher. This is a nice savvy pick, especially he did it
he did it before the
that's
odds
what
were
I mean,
out.
despite the draw. So I listen, kick him when he's down, but I give anybody credit when credit's due. So I'm giving credit to Timmy's in 19th place.
Yeah, I know. He's been killing all these high. He has the first at a WGC, first at the Players, second at the other WGC. Does that mean he's going to pick the Masters winner? Should we be tailing Tim?
Normally by now, do we not know who he's picking?
No, I know who he's picking for this week. He told me.
Okay, but normally, he's puts it out there. But okay, yeah, no, great suspense.
Yeah.
To who Tim's gonna throw down.
So people who actually cashed in winning some money. We got a lot of members of Fantasy National this week did very, very well. Me, not so much. I was in, as I told you, someone actually even tweeted at me. I was trying to keep it off air because I didn't want to jinx myself, but I was winning the dog leg for Corrales. I was up at one point like $17,000 on Sunday, and I ended up winning like 300.
Listen, I was like,
Poor Sung Jae couldn't hold on to that lead.
I was being supportive for you, but I like to have that tournament specifically on like Friday night. It's like almost like the leaderboard does a full weekend flip.
Oh.
That's exactly what's going to happen at these like places where guys are going 8 and 9 under from the pack.
Yeah, you know who did not go 8 and 9 under? Any of my guys on the weekend. They got that out of their system on Thursday and Friday. I don't even know what happened to Sung Jae, but it was nice to see Graham McDowell win. I love Graham McDowell.
I was legitimately happy to see that, other than it was a Canadian Mackenzie Hughes.
Well, how about this, Mackenzie Hughes? Why don't you learn how to get it up and down on 18 instead of chipping it over the green? That could have helped.
Yeah, no, Graham, and even, this great like bogey saves, and he was on a great, like his putting stats from Saturday.
He had like 20 putts in the third round. It was stupid.
I think it was 14 holes, 14 putts, or even 15 for 15. Then obviously, things can catch up there, but that's a wild event.
I kind of like it. Kelly Craft plays really well at that event too. He was on my team. He actually ended up playing really well after day one. But the guys who actually won big match play winners here. So Bryce Moore, he spun $434 into 3K. And these are just viewers of the show, members of FantasyNational.com. Good week to get into FantasyNational.com, by the way. Especially if you do it on Wednesday, you get the lineup generator and all the tools for Valero, and then it rolls over into the Masters. But even just to get in now on a Monday to learn all the tools and how to use everything before the Masters, because let's be real here. People are investing in the Masters. I never want to, but I always end up with like $1,000 in bets. I'm just like, oh, this is stupid. And then I always,
never want to
end up like hedging it on Saturday, on Sunday, just to try to get my money back. And unless we got Danny Willett in the running, then we're looking good.
Listen,
then it's good to have that money in play.
I got buddies that go nuts. They're playing all these like Super Bowl props. I'm just like, even though the Masters is my Super Bowl, I don't care about this. Like,
I'm trying to keep it even keeled. I'm not playing as much this week, and I didn't play as much last week because the match play is a weird one. Like, what are you really going to do with it? But I'm going to try to keep it somewhere like Genesis level for the Masters. Keep it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying.
Regular week,
well,
not go like twice as much as I normally spend.
Here's the thing, and we can get into some.
But I'll get duped into like 30 millionaire maker lineups.
We can get into it, but normally this time of year, I've probably got like a Masters card made. I got like 1.5 bets.
I got 2 bets in, and they're both long shots.
My shortest is 40-1, so it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. We're gonna do lots of content, but there's so many players playing well. I don't know how to see that sucker right now.
I placed the bet for you. You can tell the people the bet that you made this weekend.
Well, we've been talking about it for a while, and then some other popular people started making it, so I had to make it before it dropped, and I'm on Hideki, 40-1. It's a number I've liked him at a lot of these big field events. He always sucks me back in. Because that like incident where he's like, oh, you feel could happen. Then it all goes away. Then you're like, this guy, I'm done with him. Then he like rallies on the weekend on a Sunday playing with no pressure to suck you back in. So I'm sucked back in. I fear you got to make important putts. But it's a number at 40-1 that we've liked all year in big events. And
Sergio won at 40-1 2 years ago. Reed won at 55-1 last year. Willett won it. He went off at 60-1 or 55-1, whatever it was. That's the range where these Master winners are.
I think his game. Listen, it's such a sad thing to say because putting is everything. But his game is in a really good place.
Can't putt though. Maybe it'll change. Listen, even Paul Casey putts well at the Masters. So
yeah, he's got historic history. I probably bet Hideki at the Masters 26-1 and probably felt good about those bets. So I don't know. Yeah, that's one.
So hopefully we can have a good week of some of these people from Fantasy National and viewers of the show, the people out there with these winners. Josh Gordon, not that Josh Gordon, another Josh Gordon, in for 195, out for 800. Brian Palmer hit Kisner 75-1 and turned 43 DK bucks into almost 1,300. Pat Fail in for 20, out for 530. He won the 7K $3 hybrid, so congratulations on a GPP win there, Pat. Chugsy in for $33.50, out for $824. Justin turned $5 in to $226 with Kisner. NP put Put down on Kisner after day one when he was 0-1 at 210 to
That's
1.
a bold move.
He actually kind of pointed out it's not a terrible strategy to kind of look at some of the guys that you still like who start off 0-1 because 0-1 wasn't necessarily
Depending on who won that first match.
Exactly.
There are roads that controlled your own destiny. Did Kuchar even lose a match or no?
He tied a match.
Yes, but a couple guys did get through. They actually played each other. This year, it seemed like more guys with one win. I know with the loss advanced because going into this year, Pat, I saw the stat was 79% of the pod winners in the 3 years or 4 years of the pod system had won the first match. Only 8 guys had ever advanced into the Sweet 16 without winning the first match historically.
And that just kind of flip-flopped this year.
Not total flip-flop, but we saw a couple more. I know Louis specifically, Kisner specifically.
Also, day 2, all the underdogs basically
Did Tiger lose a match? He lost to Snedeker and moved on. So a handful of guys lost matches and moved on. I want to say lost his first match.
Yeah, like the only guys that were like perfect coming out were like Stenson,
Molinari, Casey,
and Beauregard.
Casey.
No, Casey.
Or Casey might have tied.
Casey tied a match. Yeah. Anyway, Michael Kaiser hit 66 to 1 with Kisner, and he also hit Keith Mitchell back at Honda, so he's having a fantastic year. David Langer in for $20 on DK, out for $2,650. Ben Allen turned $31 into $1,400. Matthew Stazzo, he wasn't even the big winner of the week, but he turned $25.25 into just under $6,000. It's a pretty good week. But the two big winners, Justin Sullivan entered $115 worth of lineups. He cashes out for $25,878. And he still wasn't even the biggest. Actually, he was the biggest winner of the week because Jason Lofty, he was in for $137. He also cashed out for $25,864. They both tied in the $5.
Yeah.
So people out there who are watching the show are doing better with the information that we're spewing out than we are.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
Great to see Justin win. I'm sure lots of like longtime listeners, but I don't know whether it's like an Avi or something. I'll like notice you more, but he's been following for a while. So I'm always happy to see everyone win. But I guess specifically to the people that are like nice to me on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to be nice to you when they're winning $25K.
No, but even when they're not winning $25K. So I'm always happy. I don't know. I'm always happy when people win.
So,
take it from the house. That's all that matters.
Yeah. The DK Listeners League is in the description of this video. I actually don't have the link yet, so it might not be there as soon as the show gets posted, but it will emerge there if you just refresh it or just check the video because it will for sure get there. But if you're listening to the audio version, that always comes out first. It may not be in there initially, but it'll get out there for the Valero Texas Open. And we hope to have a giant one for the Masters because I'm releasing the show early. We'll have extra time to fill it up. Obviously, it's rake-free. And
as you said, everyone's bankroll just seems to get
a little bit bigger.
I don't know where the money comes from, but everyone's bankroll is just bigger for the Masters.
Well, someone even commented that I think it was someone. I think it was on the $25K winner. It might have been on the $6,000 winner. They played 20 lineups in the $5. It's like, well, no wonder you played 20 lineups. The only thing was like, if the guy's gonna win like $25K. Why wouldn't you spend the $200 to play the 20 lineups?
If
it was that simple, why go take a loan out?
Yeah, no.
If it's like guaranteed. I mean, I play 20 lineups all the time and I fucking lose all the time.
Firstly, that's the last sort of win. Not that anyone, I mean, if you win big, no one should be criticized. And, people that do play deep and go deeper into the entry fees will tell you they find it easier to cash the higher you go up.
Of course, fewer people in those tournaments.
Okay, so that's no easy way to cash. 20 lineups in the $5, I'd be lucky to get my money back 80% of the week.
If that.
That's not like, so that's like, of all the wins to throw stones at, that was like pretty weird. It's like his first week on Twitter.
Maybe it was. Who knows? Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. You're like, yeah. It's just like,
but even yet,
my
build a bankroll to you don't have to do that.
But not even build the bankroll. If it was that easy with what this guy was claiming, you put in 20 lineups, of course you won.
Well, go to Money Mart and get your 200, and you turn it into 20K. You can pay Money Mart back their 220, and you're raking it in, bud.
Yeah, you're up 20. You're up 25K.
You're up 25K minus the 200 you had to borrow from Money Mart with the little interest.
Yeah, with the 300% interest. Yeah.
You're in. You're rolling in.
Go drive an Uber for 2 days. Get some extra cash, some side hustle on the go.
It's Masters week. Well, not yet, but I'm like there.
I know. I just thought it was kind of funny. Sergio versus Cooch.
Okay.
For people that don't know, they got into a fight. I wanted to see a real fight. I really did. I just want to see someone throw down on the course like they're fucking Happy Gilmore. And Kuchar versus Sergio, I mean, feel like Sergio may have cleaned the clock of Kuchar if they got into a real fist fight.
I have a feeling Serge has been in a few more of them.
Well, he gets all fired up. That's all this was Sergio being a bit too fired up.
Okay. I had an outright on Sergio, so I was trying to just stay calm. We were all angry. If you had money on Sergio, that emotion was pouring out of him. I don't know. If Kuchar really wanted to make it right, there was a way to make it right.
Kuchar didn't need to bring so much attention to it because, of course, the putt was going to be conceded.
So, but I'm just saying, if Kuchar, like, he was acting like I was trying to do the good thing, I like, the official told me no, there were other ways. I think the simplest way would have been to give him the 10-footer on the next hole. It's not like a 20-footer. You're not conceding a hole. Sergio needed that putt for the half. And I guess in the moment, Kuchar's like, I'm not handing him a free 10-footer.
Yeah, I mean, I would not hand anyone a free 10-footer in match.
But I don't know.
I would honestly almost make everyone putt it out. That'd be like my stance. Like, you need to go putt that. Because look what happened to Tiger against
I'm
Farragher.
just saying, in the incident that Kuchar wants to make it right or pretending that like he's trying to play, I'm just done with Kuchar playing both sides of fences here. Like he's like that's another case. And I think a lot of the golf public, like he may have, I don't know, there's real chances to make it right if he wanted to make it right. Historically, guys have made it right. I honestly believe if you think Kuchar's in the right, you're the same guy that would like, it's 3 a.m. There's not a car on the road. You jaywalk. The cop gives you a ticket and you're like, buddy's like, you deserved it. Like, that's the type of guy that thinks like Kuchar is right here. Sergio a child? Yes. Is Kuchar a stingy fuck? Yes. So you put those two things together and it gave us what we got. The most petulant child on tour and the stingiest guy on tour. And that created that situation. The one thing that bothered me the most is Kuchar, like, either own it, like, whatever, it's nothing, or actually try to make it right if you feel like something was wronged. Because it's match play. It's a very easy thing to fix. Very easy.
If you know you've drawn Kuchar, how are you not on the line with El Tucan to get him up to be your caddy for that round against Kuchar? Like, isn't that like mental warfare at its highest level? Like, where's that move? You pay him $5.
I wanted Sergio almost pulled it back. If he didn't like beat himself for like a 3-4 hole stretch.
Sergio pulled it back against Grace though. Like he rallied in the morning too. That was his match, right? Sergio Grace?
Yes.
Yeah. And he was down in that going into the final few
I'm just saying,
holes.
but Sergio did the right thing because even in match play, yes, you're playing like the other guy's position. Unless you're Louis Oosthuizen, when a guy's like dead, you'll make yourself more dead.
Also, every time I was watching Louis, like there was no way he could possibly win because he was making every 60-foot putt for like 2.5 days.
Well, that's what got him hot for the Valspar.
It did.
That's what, you know, when
he was
that
he
US
was
Open where he's like
in.
5 over, then he's in the...
But it was just ludicrous. Like, it's like, and the coverage was so bad.
Horrible.
And here's why it was,
I don't want to lose.
here's why it was so bad. Do you want to finish on the Kuchar point or are we going on to something else here?
Well, I was just saying how I like Sergio making it personal cost him like a hole or two maybe, but it also like got him back in it.
Got him fired
up. And in
up.
these like match play things, yes, you're trying to win, you're trying to score, you're seeing where the other guy what his lie is, what he's lying, you know, shots wise, and you play against him. But it never really gets like personal. You know what I mean? You're not making it like I'm playing him, I'm in this tournament. You're not like I'm versus like I'm gonna beat you now. Cause like personal. Like if Pepsi and Miguel maybe had to like play like 8 more, 12 more holes, like that could have gotten maybe more fun. That's all. Sergio made it personally, almost pulled it out. Nothing, I don't know. Again, Kuchar. Own it, man. Just be like Hollywood Hogan now. Just own it.
Yeah, basically just be Patrick Reed.
Stop trying to like play both sides here every time.
He's got to sell them Skechers. Bad guys.
Well, then own them. Own the bad guy line.
The coverage. Here was the worst part about the coverage. That there was clearly cameras at every hole, and there's only so many guys on the course. But we're watching like Jordan Spieth line up putts for 20 minutes. And then every time we cut away, it's like, oh, let's cut to a little bit earlier. And the guy's making the putt. Like there's no drama in it. It's like, oh, let's cut to Lucas Beauregard, who's up one. And you're like, here he has a 35-foot putt. Why else are they showing him? He's clearly making this.
If it wasn't for the European Tour app, I had no way to believe Lee Westwood got a hole in one.
It was on the PGA app, too.
It took them like 50 minutes to show it on TV.
And they have the cameras at every hole.
Believe it or not, I was actually watching there. Sometimes like rare, but sometimes I do try to do a little cardio. I was watching that time. Like one, because the stat showed, because you sometimes, the birdie stats are unofficial, because sometimes they're like conceded, the guy's lying too, because it's close, they give him, the birdie. And it's like, Westwood got a 1, Hatton got a 2. Like, what the hell is going on here? And they're not giving you anything. They're not giving you anything, even to respect the Tiger Rory thing, which was a big deal.
Which was awesome. I loved it.
And it deserved all the attention. There are like still opportunities to do better.
But I
get
the Tiger Rory thing. That completely makes sense to me. But when you're on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Tiger is not facing Rory, and he's facing Brandt Snedeker
or Aaron Wise,
or Aaron Wise, like, yeah, I want to see every shot of Tiger. That's fine. I'll see all the Aaron Wise shots too. But we can splice in other people too. Like I don't think I saw a Henrik Stenson shot for the entire round robin.
No, I would say the most forgotten match, because
like they didn't show Molinari at all.
No, and these matches were over by
they weren't even showing like the Molinari Beauregard third place match. Well, there was only 4 guys on the course.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch an ounce of the final.
I tried to tune in for about half an hour. I always say every year the worst viewing experience in golf is the last. No,
I was just, and I get, it happens. It's match play. But I was out. We took me and my wife. We took Lily like maple syrup farm. I didn't really see any of the Kisner Molly match. I literally get home there on 16 green. He's down 2. I'm tracking it. I'm kind of annoyed, but not letting it ruin my morning. Down 2. I'm home for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, it's all tied up. They're on 18 green. He's got a 22-footer. It was like worse than Dustin at Chambers Bay, man. Like 9 feet. Rockets that thing.
That's what happened to Chris Stroud at Corrales. Now his putt was from like 70 feet, but he just blasted
such a kick in the nuts. And I tell you, like sometimes I try to get the feel, to win. It was a nice ticket.
Well, you had Sergio coming from the one way. You had Molinari and Louis coming from the other way. I was cooked. All I had was Rose.
No, Louis was just like my key to like DK. Like good,
you didn't bet him?
No.
Oh.
He's just like a key to like really, because I had some other good things happening, but Louis was like a real X factor for me there. Yeah, I don't know. It happens. Tiger missed I think it was like probably a couple feet shorter, but a similar putt than
he missed like a
Molinari.
3-footer.
But again, it's like the most. I think I tweeted on Tuesday night, like, best of luck to everybody trying to figure out who the luckiest golfer will be.
Well, I mean,
it takes.
I actually parlayed some of your wisdom, because I mean, I had the Rose outright, so I was getting very frustrated with you for betting Kevin not and being successful with it. Plus 180 in a head-to-head. But I looked at the Beauregard Tiger thing at plus 162 and won all my money back on the week just betting on that one match. Like, that made a lot of sense. There's no way he should have been a plus 160 dog against Tiger. I get Tiger's Tiger. But it's Tiger after playing 18 holes?
Yeah, and we
and, like,
saw
not
that.
looking great. Like, he played fine, but Rory didn't play good. It was like you said, it's one of the main reasons you picked on Rose. Like, Rose was
winning with pars.
Yeah, he was just
when you like
playing okay.
Yeah, when you're advancing with pars and the guys you're playing are like bogeying and you're winning holes, Gary Woodland. That guy's gonna get got, because there were guys out there that were like birdie machines,
like Kisner.
Yeah, or like Molinari, and even Kisner. Man, I said Friday night I tweeted this guy, like, he survived the group that like tested him. 20-1 was the best pick, but I had guys on both sides of the draw. I didn't really feel like getting back in, but to my point, I mean, the amount of, as great as Kisner played, and he played great in the finals, so I heard, there takes amount of luck set. Like, Molinari's got a 3-putt 18, not to say Kisner wouldn't have beaten him. I'm sure there are other lucky incidents. You can't win that thing. I actually, you know what? I watched for a minute. I literally saw, I was watching that Duke game, but the second Kisner's up or something, Kisner goes into the hazard and he ties a hole on the second hole, I think.
Yeah.
Kuchar like 3-putted from
Kuchar
like 14.
3-putted.
So it's just like, I don't know, like God bless Kisner, a great fit. We can make the Ryder Cup conversation. Although I don't think it's going to be a great fit. Like if it's a Bombers course, I don't know.
Well,
like,
it's funny that we
European road games he'll be good for.
It's
maybe
it's funny because we did talk about that during the Ryder Cup show last year when we were talking about the actual course, and the Americans had all these bombers. That's how we ended up on the Euros. Westwood even tweeted it out this weekend. Like Kisner would have looked awfully good in an American uniform last year
on that course.
Like on that course, he's the perfect type of guy. He's just going to hit every fairway. He's not going to make a bunch of mistakes, and he'll make a few putts. But he's really good at that like weird alternate format with Scott Brown at Zurich too. Maybe there's just something in his match play DNA. He's come second at this. He's won this. He's played really well at the other one. Yeah, maybe he's just got that mentality.
Yeah, no, and
apparently he's a giant asshole, which might be really good for match play. Like like Poulter's kind of an asshole that makes him good at match play.
Yeah, he's very like got a dry sense of humor. Yeah, he's the type of guy, like if you're not a pro and you got like your name on your bag, like he'll let you know you're an idiot. You know, like so, but yeah, great to see him win. I mean, second place to first place.
And he was
awesome.
in the hardest or second hardest group.
A couple things, there were like older guys advancing, so you almost think you need like youngers. And I mean, granted, my greatest success of the week, which was a failure in Molinari, was made because of the draw. Like before we did the show last week, I was like, I like Molinari. The draw came out. We just were doing it.
Yeah, it was like how I ended up on Rose. I was like,
okay, Molinari
and they would have.
That was great.
That was their
but
hard
again,
matchup.
Like it completely overrates where you gotta go because you're afraid of Kuchar things there because like, I don't know, Rahm and Dustin and Xander. There was like
we don't see any of them.
There's a road there you're like afraid of. And then it's like, oh, okay, everyone's gone. So sort of how it happens.
That it for match play? Any Corrales thoughts besides shout out Graham McDowell?
No, they're there. I think that's a fantastic match play course. I'm an expert at that course.
At Austin?
Yeah, well, I think if anyone who like takes in a lot of that tournament, you're very familiar with a lot of the holes.
I like that course.
It's a great match play course. A lot of fun opportunities. You're down too late. There's charges there because there are opportunities to make three. A lot of places. Yeah,
it's a great course only because the birdie opportunities are there all over the place. But those birdies, like it almost plays a little bit like the number 10 Riviera, where guys can make birdie no problem, but guys can also make double bogey.
Like 13, even 18.
18
is a great.
I still can't figure out how people just don't birdie 18 every time. But like you watch them, like, oh man, that sucks. Yeah. It's a bad break.
And I'll tell you this, because there was that whole thing with like Keegan, and they actually showed his match play record, which is horrible, but he's lifted by his great like 2 balls with Phil. I swear to God, he went to 18 and lost every match by missing like a 6, 7, 8 footer. Every day he's like on 18.
I forget who he played on Thursday, but I had the other guy.
If you tell me
they ended up tying.
Keegan missed the putt though. I think I had the other guy too.
Who do you think? Do you think Cust was the most triggered person alive about it saying tied and not all square?
It bothered me, but I don't get to the level of Cust.
I don't see why it's that big of an
issue. It's annoying. Tied?
Yeah, it's tied. They're tied in the match.
That's weird, Pat.
I'm sorry it bothers you so much.
No, it doesn't bother me.
It sounds like it bothers you.
It's weird.
Yeah, you'll be used to it by next year. It's fine. Tim was having like a meltdown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's disgracing the game.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's such an odd thing to be upset about.
No, upset is, wasn't.
No, he was triggered. So, yeah. Most people were just like, yeah, who cares? It's giant, who cares? It just seemed like a very odd thing to get all riled up about.
Kisner, man, what, like almost $1.75 million?
Yeah, he bought his caddy another like car.
Listen, we joked about like Tiger having to go 2 days. That caddy, my guy, he's a big boy.
getting out there, getting his cardio in.
Yeah,
watching the
like
golf.
the walk steppers.
The funny thing about
Well, you don't even need them. They crush so many steps.
well, the funny thing is with Cuss being so triggered by the tide, he was more upset about that than them not actually showing golf. Like, wouldn't that be the more prudent thing to be upset about? Like,
no, not him.
Hey, let's get the coverage better so we can see.
He doesn't care because he doesn't have a cent in the game.
So he doesn't care.
So
to see
he's
any of the
got
stuff?
like no interest. Like when you're tracking, and I'm like, oh, my guy is like a 9-footer to tie or win the hole, and it's a named player. Like I'm like, okay, in the next like 3 minutes, Golf Channel will show me that putt. 8 minutes later, 12 minutes later, they haven't shown it to me. I gotta check it.
Yeah, and they're on the next. They're already done the next hole.
I gotta check it by now. Like I give them a minute, a 2 minute, a 3 minute, 4 minute window. Like I'd rather see the putt than have it say shot number 4 from the green. Like I don't bet on baseball anymore. It's like my new like in play runs.
Okay.
Like you bet on like in play runs is like
I'm not. I mean, I'm almost dedicated to not watching a single second of baseball this year.
no. I just
I'm gonna keep my money far away
the
from
3
baseball.
sexiest words to someone who bets baseball is in play runs.
Okay.
People know what I'm talking about. But shot number 4 from the green. I can't stare at that. So if I'm actually able to be watching it, I'm not an idiot. There's enough matches on there. I know. I mean, just for a second, I wouldn't have sent on it, but I know like a match you're never going to see a shot of. Like I think Harding played Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Like literally, not even if someone would have to hit like a 60-footer on 18 to see a shot from something like that.
But we had like Stenson versus Day and didn't get a single shot from that, which was just nuts because they were folk like with 60.
Are you shocked?
With 64 guys on the course, like why are you only showing 4 people?
Are you shocked?
That's the real travesty with it. That's where they go wrong. The tide thing is sort of irrelevant.
You're absolutely right. I'm shocked Phil and Day played on Friday.
I can't believe Day gutted it out.
Because Day, like with the, his whole thing, apparently, I didn't see it, but he gagged a 3-hole lead to Furyk. And then it was apparently like.
Well, he gagged it to Furyk because they actually showed some of that match because Furyk was like storming it, but he was chipping in. He was making 50-foot putts.
So he lost the way like you can.
And then Day started missing like 10 footers for par all of a sudden. He was done.
I wasn't. That's and it's like I wasn't watching.
That was day
and
one.
And then people are like, Day's gonna withdraw. Like I saw him pick the ball out of the hole. He looks like he's about to die. And that's the thing. Day's won this thing looking like he was gonna die day one. He played McDowell. I think it was McDowell. He was the one with the 3-stroke lead. And he like limped to the finish. If like it was the other way around or he had to go like a full thing, he probably would have withdrawn. We've gone long, but like fuck the Valero.
Yeah, Valero's fine. You won here last year. It was your biggest win last year.
I just mean like I don't know. I think in terms of golf outright, it was my biggest like one win. Like Willett was 150.
Willett was 150, so Landry was 175.
Yeah. I know, like I won more on Willett because there was like a 3-month period where I was like clicking it once a week. But in terms of outright to nil, that would have been the biggest. I don't have any like Siwoo with the players like our boy Adon.
Yeah. So Valero, it's moved up in the schedule. This is the former spot of the
Houston.
Shell Houston Open. That is now during the swing season,
Yeah.
I believe. So Valero gets bumped up. It's still the same course, TPC San Antonio. The Oaks course been played here since 2010. It's a long one. And all the par 5s are long. The par 3s are long. You get a couple of short par 4s, but there's a couple long ones mixed in too. When I went and looked at Fantasy National and looked at where all the strokes gained came from, this is one of the few courses where strokes gained off the tee. It isn't quite to the level of strokes gained approach, but there isn't a huge disparity between the two. So you really want to have someone that gains strokes off the tee here. When you go back and look at some of the past winners, whether it be Steele or Ben Curtis or Adam Scott, Andrew Landry last year. Like they're just these types of guys who aren't great putters, but excellent ball strikers.
Even your boy who gagged it with that chip, Mullenix.
Yeah.
Like he can just blast it out there.
That would have been one of my biggest hits ever. He was like 225 to 1.
So is that why my boy Bo Hostler's 160 to 1?
Why? Because he can only chip and putt?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even last year we saw like Ryan Moore, Zach Johnson, Jimmy Walker, those types of guys pop up inside the top 10. This is a really weak field. This is the weakest field of the year, I think. Like it has 4 names in it, and then really no one else in terms of like star quality.
Do you know
like
what?
even Career Builder had Rose and Phil, and
that's a bad comparison. Oh, I know you're just looking for, like, because it's the week in front of a major.
Phil's not even playing. He always plays the week before a major.
This being said, you take a look at like for example, how lucky the Canadian Open is, because that's the week before the U.S. Open, and that field is looking great.
Well, it's because the match play isn't the week before. Like these guys have just played. They've had a WGC. They had Arnie's tournament. They had the Players. They had the match play. Like they want a week off.
So Honda was originally the biggest loser of the new schedule, but Valero is.
It's not really the biggest loser. It's because it's not like everyone showed up to Valero last year. Luke List, I think, was he was 20-1 to win this tournament last year.
So
it's not like everyone showed up in San Antonio last year either, because that was sort of that grace period between the Masters and the Players where people were just kind of like, let's try to figure something else out here. And people always wanted to play Quail Hollow. So this isn't normally a strong tournament as is, but it does have 156 players, which is a lot of guys. We haven't generally through the Florida swing. We don't see it. The greens are Bermuda, but they're overseeded, so they're not going to play like general Bermuda. They might play a bit more like the Masters. Not quite as fast though. Houston used to set itself up like it was going to be like Augusta with the shaved greens and everything. I don't believe Valero is doing that. For
starters, Houston probably did that to like appease Phil. Like he probably got to play a role in that. But no offense, there's 156 guys. Like 6 of them are going to the Masters. So they're probably like, what are we doing? Like,
is Charlie Hoffman in the Masters?
I'm just saying, I feel like Houston, there was like way more players who are actually going to be in the Masters. Here, there's so few. It's like, why are we like appeasing a Masters setup?
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, the favorites.
I don't know if Hoffman's in the Masters. I didn't mean to ignore that question.
I actually don't know. I don't think he is.
I remember he was like a crushing it first round leader when we were hanging.
I know. Was he top 10 last year? I can't remember. I doubt it. If he was top 10 last year, he's in. But I'll go look that up. Anyway,
I don't think he was.
The favorites in the field. Ricky, who skipped last week, is playing this week. He's 10-1. Finau, Big Ricky, is 16-1. Cooch coming off the second place, 16-1. Jordan Spieth, 18-1. Billy Horschel, Jason Kokrak, Sung Jae Im, all 28-1. Those are your favorites for the Valero Texas Open. Do any of those top 4 below 20 do anything for you?
The only one I would... Okay.
The answer is no for me.
No is also my answer, but I have 2 points to make.
Okay.
One, based on like where Ricky Fowler's odds are probably for the Masters, I would argue 10, 11, 12-1 versus this field comparatively isn't like that bad of a bet.
Okay, so
not for me.
What you're trying to say is that the bet at Valero on Ricky Fowler is a better value bet based on the odds than it would be at the Masters.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Number 2, if I had to pick there, if you love betting the top, as crazy as it sounds, it'd be Finau, just because the guy, I don't like betting guys. He still needs like a real win. So he's the best. He has a win. He's a great player. He's an American Ryder Cupper. He's actually playing really well. He was in that group of death. I thought he looked good at Sawgrass. Couldn't score on par 5s. He was just in a tough matchup group where I think he went 2-1 or 1-1-1. Not really sure.
I think he was 1-1-1.
He would be the guy that I would assume would be like the most motivated. But any of these guys are motivated. I mean, we've seen in Ricky's Saturdays, I almost want to say were invented at the Houston Open. Because there were so many times he's in great shape.
I remember him and Sung Kang were way out ahead of everyone. I think it was like 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden they just dropped back to the pack and Henley won.
There's so many times where Ricky's like in Houston, the week before the Masters, was like rocking it, and then it all came cratering back to earth. So no, I'm not betting them. But if you had to make me pick one for you, it'd probably be Tony Finau, who I've heard a rumor about this week.
Yes, Tony Finau will be Cuss one and done selection.
But he's a heater.
He gets to pick first, but he doesn't do well with these nothing events. Remember, he picked Patrick Reed at Valspar, who came like last. It's only the big...
Oh, he's Brooks Koepka, the one and done?
Yeah, Tim is the Brooks Koepka, the one and done. If it's not like $2 million for first prize, he's not concerned about it. So we'll see how big bullet tooth Tony does here this week.
It is an honor that Big and Little are the top of an odds board and will probably come home trophyless.
Maybe. Oh, I do want to let everyone know I recorded a show on the weekend, the top movies of 1999. It was a fun show.
Enjoyable.
It was.
I was wondering, like what?
20 years.
Yeah, but
well, The Ringer just put out a big list, and I had thoughts about the movies of 1999.
It was a deep run.
Yeah, it's a good year for movies. People are very upset about the list. I also realized that when people started tweeting back to me, like what their list would be, that people are just bad at movies.
It was also my peak time in probably going to the movies. Well, I'm of that age, and that's
so am I. And as Paul pointed out, it was before we, like, you and I were old enough to, like, go to the bar or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, like, going to a movie on Friday night with your friends or on a date or something was, like, actually something you did.
And, like, I
There was
want
no
to
Netflix
say,
and
yeah,
chill
the
20 years
revolution
ago.
of that stuff, like, really wasn't even there.
But
Like, any of, like, the Netflix or the revolution
that
of,
was
like,
1999.
the content or
There was no internet.
There's no on-demand. It
There
was
was
still,
no-
like, Blockbuster. It was still renting videos.
There was Blockbuster and maybe Napster at best.
And, yeah, still... This was a time where the videos were still in, like, the convenience stores, like the machines.
I mean, that's before that. That the machines and the
Well,
video
they
store
still
came
exist, but, like,
Who
no,
knows?
I'm talking about the machines in the, like, the convenience stores.
later. Not just like the back room, and then they would have
No,
the other back room.
those
with
are
the
other types of convenience
and they had the
stores.
beads.
I'm talking about the machines where, like, you could go, like, be in, like, the 7-Eleven or the Max Milk or Becker's. I don't know what.
I don't know what any of those things are. I know 7-Eleven.
Well, I'm local. Well, yeah, 7-Eleven.
I get your 7-Eleven. I don't know what Peckers is.
Becker's.
Oh, sorry.
They would have, like, a machine. Like, it wasn't.
I remember when Netflix was that. It was just like a box, and like you pressed a button, and it spit out a DVD at you. Redbox was one of those as well.
All right.
Did you have a favorite movie from 1999? Cust was very upset that I didn't have Matrix at number 1. Because he thinks that the Matrix is very deep. For a guy that doesn't smoke weed, I can't believe he's so into the Matrix.
Fight Club?
I had Fight Club at 1. I also like butchered 2 of the movies that didn't come out that year. They were just released in America that year, but they came out like 2 years before. So that was stupid on my part. Anyway, the rest of these guys. Horschel, Kokrak, Im, 28-1.
Some J's tempting, but no. Kokrak tempting, but no. I'm going to just keep digging, I think.
I'm not. I missed out. This is a weird tournament, and especially this time of year. I know Houston.
Are you going on Kokrak?
I am going on Kokrak. 28-1. He let me.
He is on fire.
He let me down at Valspar, but he still cashed out.
I thought he was going to win it.
He still cashed out for me. He hit his each way, which is fine. I thought he was going to win too. But I did this at the Houston Open 2 years ago when I didn't bet Henley. And everyone was betting Henley, and he was trending towards a win. I was like, 28-1, that's a stupid number for Russell Henley. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah.
And he won. At this tournament 2 years ago, Kevin Chappell was exactly the same thing. We all looked at Kevin Chappell. We'd all been betting Kevin Chappell, and he was like 22-1. He was like, well, that's a stupid odd for Kevin Chappell. Then he goes out and wins. I'm not doing that this time. I'm betting Jason Kokrak.
I'll make you feel better about that bet.
I feel good about it. That's why I'm betting it.
No, but I'll make you feel better about it. Just the last time he went out, it was like 40 at Valspar.
Yeah.
And I think that field was a lot stronger. There were a lot better names there that you would be afraid of. There is nobody here that will strike fear in even Bud Cauley. Ricky plays good guy. Finau, according to like the Golf Digest poll last year, is like the nicest guy on tour. Everything you see is real there. Not like the next man up, Kuchar. But I don't think Kuchar like intimidates anybody.
Neither do
Unless he comes out Hollywood Hogan and plays to his new brand. And then there's like Jordan. Which, I mean, we talk about jokes about odds value to Ricky to his Masters odds. What about Jordan?
Well, he's actually deeper odds now. He's like 22-1 to win the Masters. But this 18 is only here because he had like one good match at the match play, and then all of a sudden, just boom, put his number back up.
Did he have a good match? He had a good like back 9.
He had
like,
one really. He had
charged.
like a really hot stretch. But to watch, like they showed a bunch of like he was striking the ball really well, except for one time he almost put it in like the river. But he was missing the 3-foot putts again. Yeah, you just can't do that, Jordo.
Yeah.
But this is, I'm telling you, man, they might hang a 30 on us. I'm betting the 30 if we get it. If we get the 30 at Augusta, I'm betting it.
Because I haven't, I wasn't, they're like deep futures, people got their like Bryson's 80s, Bryson's 100s.
I mean, Bryson might drop to 40 again. I might actually have to jump on
Well,
it.
Sure. My point being is I think next week you're going to be, like we said, we both haven't really, years past, we got like 4 or 5 guys. We're almost like waiting the week of or betting like 1 or 2 guys because our cards are done.
We should probably say who those are. You have Hideki at 40 and
Yeah.
who? Or is that it?
That's it.
Okay, I have Poulter at 80 and I have Siwoo at 150. That's it.
I think because unless Ricky Fowler wins, his odds will drop, or like Tony Finau. But how low could Ricky go? I guess he could get to like 16 if he actually.
But are you really
won.
betting him at 20 anyway?
No, my point being is there's so many guys at the top playing so well. In combination with that, I believe with this next week, the books, I believe the next week the books will be our friends. I know some books will like offer boosts. I'm not worried. I'm not worried that I haven't made bets. I think the numbers are still going to be fine. I think a lot of the books are going to want to get our money.
It'll
Gambling's a new exciting thing. I think the books are going to do. I think there'll be promotions. I know sometimes the each way stuff goes up. In terms of how many places they want to pay out, with the shorter fields. We know like this is a jobber, the Masters field. I mean, there's like 20 jobbers, so it's like you're playing a 60-man field for shorter each ways.
Yeah, 86 players in the Masters field as of now, and the winner of this tournament would get in if they're not previously in.
Yeah, so I think, and next week, I think the books are going to battle for your business. I might be a naive idiot, but I think next week the books are going to battle for your business.
We'll see. It's always tough with Spieth because people will line up to bet Spieth anyway.
Sure.
That you can almost, it's almost.
I was talking about not talking about Spieth, but yes.
Well, that was a conversation that we were having. I assumed you were talking about Spieth.
You talked about inflated numbers. I was just in general. Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get the numbers. Yeah. You're saying you're hoping for a 30. I wouldn't be shocked you see it.
And the one big thing that we've noticed year after year at the Masters is whatever the number is on Sunday, you are probably going to get a better number on Monday
or Tuesday.
Just wait till the Monday. The Monday they'll reset the odds, and they won't do that until Monday.
But Monday, they also know that guy like that's jonesing to like bet it comes in. Like they almost like let that stuff play out. I'm telling you, by Tuesday, they all usually spike. Unless you've got them like parlayed with something from like NFL season, I think you're going to see better numbers on the majority of players. Especially when you have guys like Dustin and Rory specifically playing so fantastic.
Tiger just making the Tiger making the final 8 of the match play. It's just like, oh, he's gonna be 5-1 at the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, I made the move this weekend on Hideki. I don't think that's gonna get stronger, but if it gets to 45, I'll swallow my pride.
Second tier of guys. We have at 30-1, Jim Furyk needs to win to get in.
Did you think about any of the other guys? Like Im did nothing for you? We got so off track. I didn't get asked the questions I wanted to ask.
I told you the guy I was betting.
I know, but I'm like, were there other like debates?
No.
That's all I was trying to get at. Sometimes there's gold with your nuggets you leave behind.
Anything else?
Let's get to the next tier. That's where my money could be.
Jim Furyk needs to win to get in. 30-1.
They're not letting him in, eh?
I mean, maybe he gets a special invite. I don't know. Ben Ann is 33-1. He's 35 on Bovada. I only bring that up because I bet him. Lucas Glover, 33. Vegas, 35. Moore, 35. GMAC, Answer, Haotong, all at 40. Beauregard, Joost Luiten, both at 45. JB, Charlie, List, Badley, all at 50. Palmer, Berger, 55. Then you got your Putnams, your McCarthys, Keimers, Ollie, Sung Kangs, Nick Taylors, Niemans, Si Woos at 66. You got a bunch here. It's a really crowded. I like this like 30 to 50 range. So I'm in on Ann. I'm in on Haotong. And I'm in on Luke List. Those are the 3 that I'm taking from there. Of course, I'm taking Luke List. Luke List.
I'm in on Luke List.
Okay.
I mentioned to you, I think this might be a Luke List week. I've said that before. So you can move it on. I've adopted your thinking. I was happy we got 50-1.
Yeah, it opened at 55 on Bovada and then it instantly moved down.
I saw 50 where I was looking. That was better than I thought.
He was 20.
For a guy that's got nothing to accomplish, I truly believe he
needs to win and get in too.
Okay, now that Sung JM's in a bit of a different category, because by the end of the year where he might rank, to me, Luke List is the best player in the world without a win. A lot of great players. He's got European wins.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I get the one he has counts to me.
You love Wentworth?
That's a real win. That's a real win.
It doesn't count for the PGA.
No, I know, but when I'm like breaking them down, like I'm not counting Noren and Fleetwood and some other guys when I say, oh, they haven't won, when I'm putting List in this category.
Okay.
Although it's probably Sung JM if I'm actually like would think about it. I think the Luke List number is great.
There are 3 guys here that I mean I have room for one more I think because I Kokrak and Haotong List.
What Answer?
He's one of them. So it's Moore, Answer, and JB Holmes, who's won in Texas before. Looked shockingly good at the match play.
Slayed him. Or no, I think Rom made it close late. I don't remember.
Anyway, this is the type of course where you kind of want him big off the tee. He can score on these short par 4s if needed. Like length isn't going to be an issue. Answer, after dropping round 1 to Casey, played great. the rest of the way.
My money's on Answer.
And he's been fantastic off the tee. And Ryan Moore just plays well with this tournament year after year. And he's been getting progressively better. Had a really rough go at Valspar, but that was all putting and chipping related. His ball striking was actually on point. I just worry that the shorter hitter has a tough time closing here, but he is trending upward. So those would be the guys that I'm looking at. I did want to look at Beauregard and Loughton, but I don't know. I actually went with Haotong instead. Haotong drives it a mile, scores on par fives, and remember this is the course that got super windy that one year when Dustin and Ortiz were like the only two guys to like make it from the other side of the draw.
This was this?
That was at Valero, and
that was Zurich.
No. Haotong plays well in the wind. Really well in the wind.
Haotong's
won at some windy tracks, and I just feel like he's based on like world ranking, and just look at the tournaments that he's won. Like he won over in Dubai. He's placed well at the Alfred Dunhill. He played really well at the British Open, and he has the other wins overseas. But I feel like he's undervalued in this. 40-1, he should be higher. Why is Sung Jae Im 28? Because we're more familiar with him.
He's the flavor right now.
Sure, and he's great.
Yeah.
I like Sung Jae, and 28-1 is probably a fair odd, but Haotong should probably also be 28.
Listen, I've bet Answer and List. I have a star beside Haotong. Your model says Ben An is the number one pick. So.
It always says it's Luke List and Ben An are just any model you run. If you don't include putting, they're going to look real good.
So I do have stars beside An and Haotong, but Answer and List have my money at the moment. I don't know. I know I sort of almost have taken over for being the pro Luke List one, but I'm very happy with 50-1.
A lot of approaches from 175 to 200 yards this week. Guys that rate out the best. Number 1, Haotong Li. Number 2, Ernie Els. This is over the past 24 rounds, by the way. Kokrak, Hoffman, Kuchar, Shank, Joel Damon, Ryan Armao, Harold Varner, Seb Straka. Straka made a nice little run on the weekend again. Had a nice first round, terrible Friday. That's a move with Straka.
He's a heater. He just
bet on him Thursday, bet against him on Friday. Bet on him Thursday, bet against him on Friday. Hope he makes the cut. He's going to go like 64-72. That's been his move. But anyone else,
where did you cut it off?
We go to 100 with these, like we do every week.
Putnam Andrew do anything? Because he hits it out there. He's a sneaky little guy that
it's
had his moments earlier in the year, and he's kind of being forgotten. And this field, that number, that sticks out to me a little bit.
It's funny you mentioned him because the two guys that I actually kind of like are the two guys that you love every week, and I poo-poo.
Ollie?
No, not Ollie. Fratelli and Chesson Hadley.
I'm ready for Fratelli.
Fratelli, I mean, this is if you have players who aren't necessarily great around the greens, but gain a lot of strokes, ball striking, specifically with their off the tee work. I mean, that's more Fratelli than it is Hadley, but he gains a ton of strokes off the tee. This could be a really nice track for him.
Yeah, who's probably going to be top Longhorn.
You get good odds on that.
I like Fratelli.
Unless Bo Hostler comes in and ruins you.
Bo at 160 at the Valero, that's a big number. But we'll get there. Or we won't get there. But Putnam, you sort of were twinkling in your eye, but that was just you wanting to talk about Fratelli.
Yeah, I'm going to bet on Siwoo. I'm going to bet on Neiman because I do that every week. This is the site of Neiman's first start ever. He came like 6th last year. Maybe he can get it all back somehow. But yeah, Bud Colley's another one who's just kind of sitting right there. Henley at 75-1 is kind of interesting. He's won in Texas. He's been better off the tee as of late. I just don't know. This is where the investment cutoff kind of comes into me, that I don't want to put too much into Valero, that I have my guys from kind of 30 to 50, and I might just be good with that.
Henley's like the Sepp Straka of the PGA Tour.
Why? Sepp Straka is on the PGA Tour.
He's just, he just makes these insane... Like when he gets it going, it goes.
I would pay attention to the weather this week because in lieu of betting like 3 bombs or whatever, I'm just going to take that money and bet first round leaders. If I see like a wind advantage and just pound like Seb Straka and Hudson Swafford and Munoz and Hama, like those types of guys to see if they can just get a hot round under their belts.
He's shown some life. I inquired about him last week. It feels like his game is coming around, but there's a lot of red on Fantasy National every time you look him up, and that's Denny McCarthy.
It's all putting with him. Realistically, McCarthy played really well last week. He played well at at Valspar. Let's see what he's got going on. I think he actually played really well. Yeah, like even at Valspar, he gained a stroke and a half off the tee, 0.2 on approach, 0.1 around the green, 6 on the greens. He gained 6 the week before. He gained 6 stroke putting at the Players and came 41st. That's tough to do when you're getting that many strokes on the green.
This is where Golf Channel birdie Charlie Hoffman like walked one in on Patrick Reed.
That's also another. That's also another one in the Coke rack feather in the hat. Remember we were riding Charlie all year, and then it's like, oh, Charlie Hoffman's 18-1 at Valero, and then he wins.
Yeah, I beat Patrick Reed.
But we've seen a lot of, like, you go back and look at the winners of this event. Ball strikers, normally not the best putters. Landry, not a great putter. Hoffman, not a great putter. Stephen Bowditch, not the best putter in the world.
Wow, Bowditch won here. Yeah, this was later in the summer. Because I was at a...
He's won twice. He won Byron Nelson and he won this. But this is usually like early May.
The other guy that I normally like, we've got to roll back on it. Like, whoa, stop the clock.
Berger?
No, you mentioned Chesson Hadley.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in there, bud?
Just that around the green is not that important.
And he crushes those irons.
Hits them irons well. And I believe he finished top 20 here last year. I did notice outside of Bowditch, every winner has made the cut in his previous start, and 3 of the past 4 have top 20s in their previous start. I believe he was 18th, I think, last year. He was also playing a lot better last year.
Someone else had a funny take on who.
Like hilarious funny or informative funny?
Informative funny.
Okay. Hadley has lost strokes with his approaches in his last 2 rounds, or his last 2 starts, which is not great. He did gain 9 at the Arnold Palmer, though. So he's kind of all over the place.
From At the Fantasy Grind. 4 of the last 5 winners ranked 36 or better in driving distance at the end of the season in the year they won. The last 5 winners of Valero made the cut at this event the previous time they played. 4 of the last 8 winners were first-time winners on the PGA Tour.
So it really shapes up for Tony Finau quite well. Coke rack, too.
Yeah. He follows up that information with a picture of Ollie Schneiderjans.
Oh, fun. So Jeff's using the information and twisting it away where he'll lose all of his money. Smart move.
Any love for Ollie?
No. What's wrong with you? Your boy Fratelli is at 80. He's even longer odds. He's substantially better.
And I mentioned Putnam, but you just wanted to talk about
I don't
Fratelli.
care about
Nothing?
Putnam doesn't hit far enough for me. He's like Kevin Kisner out there, but worse. That's his game.
And Trey Mullinax, you want to go back to that after last year?
No, I can't do it. Trey burned me. I can't do it again.
But his game sort of speaks to this place.
It also kind of went off the rails a little bit. If you're looking for the guys that are in the past 24 rounds, driving distance gained against the field in this field, Wyndham Clark is actually number 1. List. You know what? Everything you just pointed to, except for making the cut, is Luke List, because he missed the cut here last year. But it's Wyndham Clark, List, Trey Mullinax, Martin Traynor, Seth Reeves, Cameron Davis, Grayson, finished really well here last year, and I keep betting him anyway, Ollie, Tony Finau, Brandon Hagee, JB Holmes, Kevin Tway, Sam Burns, Ben Ahn, Alex Prue, Patrick Harrington, and Jim Konos.
I know you're going to bet Grayson.
Yeah, I'll bet Grayson. I actually didn't even realize he was in the field, but I'll bet Grayson. Sure, why not? What about Andrew Landry for a repeat?
Not really my cup of tea.
Not feeling Landry? You were all about him at 175. You can still get him at 100-1.
Yeah, but that was...
at the Valspar Championship, positive 3.3 strokes off the tee. Positive 3 strokes on approach. Negative 5 strokes around the greens. Came in 46th. The Players, positive 3.3 strokes.
I like hearing a lot of that. I'm not really a course history guy, but he's playing well. I like hearing that more than he won last year.
And he also pops up 4th from 150 to 175 in terms of proximity gain, 35th from 175 to 200. If we combine those together, Harold Varner III is actually like kind of the best.
So he was one.
Corey Connors and HV3 and T Dunks, Tyler Duncan. All rate out exceptionally well.
You'll have a T-Dunk first-round leader. I'm certain of it.
You know, you got to be in on that. Always. When are you not betting Tyler Duncan first-round leader? Coke Rack is actually the best from both proximities. 7th from 150, and he's 4th from 175.
Yeah, I get, like, if you just swallow it,
It doesn't look right with Jason Kokrak.
But
at
it doesn't
28-1.
look right. It's not as bad as it should be. If it was like 35, you would like love it, probably, right?
Yeah.
You'd like love it.
And if it was
So
22, I'd talk myself out of it. 28, I'm in.
you each way something like that?
No, I didn't. I each weighed him at 45, sorry, at Valero or at Valspar. But
Do you each way Benny on at 33?
no, I didn't because I went to Bovada and played it at 35. I got the extra 2 points, so no each way over there. I didn't each way Haotong. Did I each way Haotong? No, I didn't each way Haotong either. Decided, like I said, I wanted to cut back on my investment this week.
Yeah, my exposure
That's double the
gets
bet. If you each way, it's
cut
double
down.
what you're putting in.
I got to bet next week.
Yeah.
Because also I need the money for next. No, I don't have the money, but I need the money for next week. Normally, it's like I've already invested so much for next week that what I'm actually putting out, like next week, is very little. But because I haven't really made any bets yet
It's
for
going to be
next
big.
week, I'm actually gotta get that. Yeah, that stuff's all gonna be out of pocket.
So, by the statistical rankings, past 24 rounds with my my custom stats, and if you go to fantasynational.com, you can put in your own stats because obviously mine aren't doing great because I'm not hitting winners all the time. So, you can plug in what you want. Top 10 players are on the board past 24 rounds by my key stats. You want to name them? I'll tell you if they're in the top 10 or not.
Ben On,
is number 4.
Luke List,
Number 2.
Tony Finau,
Number 8.
Ricky Fowler,
No.
Jason Kokrak.
Number 5.
Does Haotong have enough rounds to qualify?
He does, but he is not on there. He's either really good in stats or really bad in stats.
Okay, that's fair. Lucas Glover.
The glove is number 12, so he just missed.
Sung J M's got to be in there.
Number 3. Cooch is number 1.
Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas is number 11.
Because he's been hot.
So the guys you're missing.
And
Furyk is number 6. Molinix is number 7. And the 2 right below, number 9 and number 10. 1 is Scotty Scheffler, who came second on the web.com last week. Drives it a ton. The models really like him this week. He's just a god-awful putter, but maybe he's starting to roll it a little bit. Like I said, second on the web.com. He's a Texas guy. Corey Connors, number 10. I feel like Corey Connors is sort of like the minor league Luke List in terms of stat modeling. Stats love him,
yeah.
but he's not good. Scotty Scheffler is interesting, though. He's 110 to 1. So if we talk...
That almost seems like shorter than you would think.
I think it's because he's a Texas guy, and he came second last week.
Yeah.
I believe that's what the case is.
There's a few guys in that just over 100 that could have my attention.
So I'm in on Grayson. He's coming off another good week. Has a decent course history here. Yeah,
Are you in on Kyung Hoon? Does he hit
No.
far enough?
KH Lee, I'm going to take a pass. He really let me down on Sunday, although he made a birdie on 18, which put me up like another $150. So that was good of him.
Scott Stallings do anything for you? Fit, sexy bod?
He really, they're not afraid to like talk about how in shape he is and then forget that he was suspended from the PGA Tour for like steroids. It's like they've completely overlooked that or forgot about it. Maybe it was a false negative. I don't know, but he was still suspended either way. But
He wasn't suspended for what Garrigus was suspended for.
I forget. Gary is too busy burning the tree. Yeah. I remember when that big ESPN article came out ages ago about Garrigus, how he talked about like going to the porta potties on the web tour and like smoking a joint and coming back out. Like honestly, who cares?
Now it'd be easier. You just like hit a pen.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Karadesh is doing the entire time. He's just getting high as shit.
Kiz was just, chomping.
Yeah, Kiz just had
the.
I don't know if he had Skull or Copenhagen, but it was deep in.
No, there was like a video that like went like golf Twitter viral. Like he was into like the tee box. It's like that's probably his caddy's like second most important job.
Did he have
that pocket's full?
So when is he? Did he have the bandits or did he have like? Because I always found when I used to chew,
I don't know.
I used to find Copenhagen was tough because it was so fine cut that you couldn't really like grab. Like if you had like a pinch of Skull, you get like a good lifer in there just like that. But with Copenhagen, it's so fine that it just falls out of your hands. That's why you needed the bandits for Copenhagen. I started smoking to quit chewing. It was more publicly acceptable.
I have no idea.
Okay, so Grayson I'm in on. I think I'll probably throw in on Varner too at 140.
Sam Burns do anything?
He's in the field.
Does he hit far enough for you?
He is. He
110?
Sure. I mean, sell me on Sam Burns. Besides saying his name.
I just feel like he's been due for this win.
Why? Because he beat Tiger at Honda last year?
You know what? The honest to God's truth is it was a name that just kind of caught my eye and it was sitting on top of Scott Stallings, who I mentioned earlier.
The only other guy from way down is Adam Long. Yeah, he's already won on tour this year. He's played really well his past 2 times out. He played well at API, and he played well at the Players.
Does this not? I mean, it's so hard to tell because I'm sure everything that you'll pull up would be red. Like, is Danny Lee like 200 to 1?
I mean, is it one of the 3 times this year that Danny Lee shows up and is awesome? Maybe. I mean, you might. I know he only has the 1 win on tour, and it's the Greenbrier. It's not a great win, but if you just want to bet like Danny Lee top 10s every single week, you'd probably get value on it because he's going to do it 3 times a year. I have no idea when that's going to happen. It's very unpredictable.
Did you go back to your boy Kelly Craft?
No, not at 100. Knowing that there's like
I'm not gonna
better
lie,
guys that are 200.
Like because I hit Landry here at 175 last year, I'm like looking to find something there, and I just don't. I mean, it's never supposed to feel right, I guess, if you're betting someone that high. But none of these guys.
Varner's 1 win was in Australia, much like Answer's win, in windy conditions. So that's something to keep note of. I'm kind of digging Answer. It was between Moore and Answer and JB Holmes for me. Maybe I will take the plunge on Answer with you. I just really like how he's been playing. You know what? I'll do it. I'll go with Answer as well.
So you're like done.
Yeah.
You never like, you're always like, wait for Wednesday. I
was up all night with the kid. I wrote up my column overnight. I did all my research overnight. I spent like 8 hours looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to get it all out of the way so I get all my master's prep in. And those were the 3 names I kind of came down to. And I didn't know how to choose between them. But if you really like Answer, you like Answer more than you like Moore, you like Answer more than you like JB Holmes and Juice and Lucas Beauregard, then I'm in.
I put a lot of pressure, but I've bet Answer.
So yeah, you're already in on.
I think
and my card is done.
Could go on you and take Haotong because I do think there is a bit of a.
It feels like someone from this range is going to win, or at least be there in the end.
I know, like sometimes I could say like stupid things, but it's also like one of those things. If Haotong just
by the odds, he's underrated here.
Yeah, my point being is if he like looked like Ricky Fowler, it'd be like 24 to 1.
No, I don't think that's a fair comp. Like we always said that with Hideki, but Hideki and Ricky had basically the same resume. Ricky and Haotong don't exactly have the same resume.
Like, I don't know. Like he shouldn't be 10 points shorter than Daniel Berger. Is kind of like what I'm
sure.
Like,
listen, right now there's no reason. I know, like we said with Im, he probably should be 28 to 1. Kokrak should be 28 to 1. They're both playing fantastically, but Haotong's a better player than both those guys. Maybe Im will become better. But from what we've seen in Haotong's career so far, the appearances at majors he's had, the big tournaments he's played in all these WGCs, like he should have better odds than those guys.
And the one thing mentioned here, it's a nice like first time. I know I believe that first time winner thing here is a PGA stat because I make reference to counting European wins. He would certainly fall into that, and it's a silly thing that doesn't show up in models.
Okay.
But I like to bet hungry play. Like there's so few players here that are actually in the Masters, so it's not really a thing. Like sometimes it feels with other ones.
I was gonna say because Jason Kokrak doesn't look especially hungry at any time. It looks like he's very full.
I just mean like I like these week before the majors. I'm telling you, you roll down the list since we've been doing it. It's always just like a fresh face beauty.
Henley got himself.
I'm not saying the guy does anything.
Poulter got himself in last year. Henley got himself in the year before. Maybe it is. Maybe there's that. Maybe there is that extra motivation. I find that, obviously the models can't pick that up because it's impossible to quantify.
Part of me just hopes that guys like Ricky Fowler are
checked out.
Not checked out because he actually does play well in a lot of these events. He's won the Scottish Open.
I feel like
that seems to be one. That's a bigger field. That's one where like
real people show
real
up.
Win. Phil, Rafa, just to name.
But like Phil usually shows up these things to like work on his shots.
Yeah. I don't know. Ricky's just in the chamber, I think, for next week. Is he not? Hope so.
Hope not. Hope he misses the cut.
Well, yeah, he's an easy fade because he's probably super popular. How high priced is he?
I don't know. I can look that up right now. Very would be my guess.
If I did bet down there, it would be Fino, but my card's not starting under
It doesn't feel like the tournament. If one of the favorites wants to run away with this, one of the favorites can run away with it. We just haven't seen that at this tournament in the past.
My exposure.
Ricky is $9,700. He's more expensive than Brooks, Tommy, Bryson, Day, Casey, Spieth, Bubba, Hideki by like $1,000.
My exposure won't be high enough this week to really want to get invested in under 30 to 1 either.
Someone keeps telling me that mybookie.com or whatever it is,
Yeah, it's true.
has Xander at 100 to 1. I don't think Xander is going to win the Masters, but
It's a good bet.
it's a good bet.
I don't know if it's still there today, but there's a tradition on golf Twitter, which is like every weekend, somebody peruses Masters odds and they let people know
Who the guy is?
no, not who the guy is. That Xander's 100 to 1.
I mean,
and it still hasn't changed.
We did that with Willett for 3 months and it worked
But he
out. Maybe
wasn't-
maybe Xander's that guy this year.
But Willett wasn't like Xander's profile before his Masters. Willett's profile for his Masters when Xander's got an exponentially higher profile.
This is true.
Like won WGCs, won tournament champions. He's won I may have given him credit for a win he doesn't have. But he's won tour championship.
He has the tour championship at WGC, Tournament of Champions,
And the Greenbrier.
in Greenbrier. Not bad
It's pretty
for
good.
2 years on tour.
It's pretty good.
All
And
right.
everyone's like this whole Kisner thing. He's the guy that should have made the Ryder Cup. If you want to like put a guy that didn't.
Yeah, I still think Kisner's game is better
And
suited.
Finau played well in the Ryder Cup. It's not like he didn't play well.
It was like, honestly, it was over guys like Tiger and Phil that Kisner and those sorts of guys, if they wanted to win, should have been there.
Makes sense.
Quick picks. So I will reel off what I am going with here. So the 2019 Valero Texas Open, the guys that I am in on. Byung-Hun An, 33 to 1. Jason Kokrak, 28 to 1. Hao Tong Lee, 40 to 1. I will tell you with Abraham Answer at 40 to 1. Then I just got my every weekers. List, Neiman, C. Woo! They're all in with their each ways. I'm going to go with Fratelli as well.
Oh, baby.
Smelly Fratelli, 80 to 1.
You think I'm going to sit across from this table and watch you bet Dylan Fratelli and me not?
And I'll throw a
No chance.
I will throw a little piece on Grayson and Harold Varner, but I'll probably have a larger like top 20 bet.
Listen, it's the mains on Sunday night, baby.
Oh yeah, you're wrestling. I forgot about that.
My fake sport.
Fun. John Oliver did a takedown of the
Oh, I
WWE. I didn't see it. I saw it on Twitter.
Listen, as much as I like, I can appreciate any takedown of them.
The
as an
WWE
organization.
said that he's fake news.
Did they really?
They released a statement being like,
Well, I saw Linda's out of the cabinet.
why is she out?
She stepped down.
But like, was there a reason?
I think she just like, I don't know. They spent so much money trying to get her elected in so many different spots for years. They never did. And I guess they donated enough for Trump to give her like a,
Yeah, but why?
2.5
Why is she stepping down?
maybe so someone else who gave a lot of money for Trump can come in.
Okay.
Like she did her term, I guess, in there. What was certainly an agreement for the check Vince had to write to support the campaign that Linda's getting in.
I would say that Linda McMahon, of all the people that I thought Rex Tillerson was actually weirdly qualified to be Secretary of State. Just with like the way that Trump had initially talked him up actually made a lot of sense. Like he's an oil magnate. He knows a lot of these people in all these important countries, especially the deal makers. That guy makes sense. Linda McMahon is like a legitimate business person.
Yeah, no, it was a far more.
It was better than like Ben
Betsy,
Carson.
or like Betsy. Yeah, what was he like? Housing.
Yeah.
He's a doctor. He's like a brain surgeon. He's doing like government housing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's a brain surgeon. You should be able to figure it out. Or the one
The
for
guy could barely stay awake.
or the one that they got running the schools.
Yeah, Betsy DeVois.
Yeah. Okay. So, answer, list, and Fratelli are the bets that I have made.
You get it on Hao Tong.
I've said enough good things about Hao Tong. I don't know, man. I see what you're saying with Kokrak.
This
I
tournament
know.
has not done me well on the guys that I want to bet, that I don't bet, that are at crappy odds. I'm betting them.
That I think it was the Chapel win. It crushed everybody. It was one of the more crushing like community wins because we all talked about it and it was all like, "Nah, man, we've been betting them like 85 to 1 for 3 months. I'm not betting them at 25 or whatever." So yeah, it feels right. And there've been. It's just as someone that hasn't been on the Kokrak train, like I think I only
jumped on at Valspar.
Yeah, and I think you did the thing with Baroff. Was it for Valspar?
Yeah.
where he's like, I haven't been on, so I'm not getting on. Good luck to you getting on, and it ended up being incredibly profitable. But that's sort of what I feel like. I haven't been on.
Well,
so.
I will say that I'll talk about this tomorrow with Drew, and as it pertains to DraftKings, we don't have the DraftKings pricing yet, but Kokrak and Glover are going to be like back to back. The move is probably to fade Kokrak and take Glover because they're both kind of doing the same thing, except for Kokrak's not putting, Glover is, and that's always worrisome when you're dealing with Lucas Glover. But he's sort of the same sort of guy that would win here, right?
Yeah.
Great ball striker, gets decent with the putter for a week, and boom, all of a sudden he's in the winner's circle.
Precisely.
Anyway, one and done picks of the week. Cust wins, and he is taking Tony Finau. I was all loaded up. I was ready to pick Byung Hun An because I was like, oh man, I got my one and done pick out of the group stage, and then all of a sudden I'm somehow still last. I got my guy out of the group,
Oh
and
yeah,
somehow that wasn't good enough.
We all got out of the group. We all got out of the group.
So Justin Rose fucked me. Who do you got?
This feels like where you gotta just throw your bullet, and there's no way I've used him. Although this also feels like the one where people try to throw their bullet and get fancy, and there's just obvious answers staring you right in the freaking face.
So I was gonna go with Byung Hun An, but it turns out that I've used him the week that Jason Day withdrew. He was my alternate because his name starts with an A.
Oh, yes.
And he actually had a pretty decent week, so I'm not too bummed about it. So I can't use Ben An, but it is your pick.
Okay, because he's sort of the guy I've captained on the show this week, and he's been my alternate pick probably a ton. Much like
is it because his name starts with an
A?
A?
I'll go with Answer, and I'll no longer be able to make him my alternate every week.
Answer, hardly knew her. The Mexican Allen Iverson. I will take
Luke List.
I'll take Jason Kokrak.
Yeah. Okay.
I had him on my other team. I had the 2 one and done teams. I had him on the other team for Valspar. I was really hoping he'd win.
Is this a sneaky play? Like this is, I would have nothing against someone like deciding to try to roll the Fowler or the Finau here though.
You know,
because people try to think they'll outsmart it, and I like this is the week to pick a guy.
No, I think this is one of the weeks where these guys in the middle range are actually far more alive than usual. So it's not a bad week to burn one of those guys. You don't need to. Like if you want to use Ricky, by all means use Ricky. Like Cust has been doing the best with this, and what has Cust been doing? Picking good guys every week. Yeah. And if he runs out of guys, he runs out of guys. But whatever. He's getting his money now.
You will never run out of guys.
Spieth is super interesting. I don't have the guts to do it, but I feel like if we were to look at this sheet and look at the top 12 guys in odds, or the top 15 guys in odds, the guys that no one is going to take, Spieth, Glover, and Billy Horschel.
Yeah. Even going a little farther back, like Ryan Moore, I feel is always.
I think Moore will be popular. I wrote up Moore in my column.
Who of anyone like sort of in the top 10, 15, 20, I'd say of the odds board, would you be potentially looking to fade? More so for like a head to head or because I
don't know what the head to heads are, but I know like DraftKings wise, it's very doubtful that I have any Fowler, Finau, or Kuchar or Horschel. I'll start with the upper nines. Because I look at the bottom of this list. Like, yeah, there are fun guys like Seth Reeves and Roberto Diaz and Max Homa, but like these guys aren't good. So I think like a more balanced structure, because I know a lot of people will just take Fowler and Finau. And maybe if you can make Fowler, Finau work, I don't know what the pricing is, or you want to throw Spieth into a few lines because no one's going to use them. I get that. But in terms of one and done, I like Kokrak. I would like Ben An too. I'll probably use Ben An on my other team. Or maybe Haotong. So I'm big on Haotong. Anyway, that'll do it. The Pat Mayo Experience. If you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, smash the like button of the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Tell me your favorite play from beyond 100 to 1, or leave an iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify 5-star review, and also subscribe to the podcast. Leave your DraftKings handle and something nice about the show. We will be back very early on Monday morning with our Masters preview. Maybe even midnight on Sunday.
When you're done watching Mania.
Sure, or if you're an adult waking up from sleep. Mania. Who is the main event of WrestleMania?
It's women.
Really?
Yeah.
Is women's wrestling like huge now? It's not like Sable?
No, but there's just sort of been, it's gotten some momentum.
Is it Sable versus Trish Stratus?
No. It's Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch.
Oh, do you think Conor McGregor is going to get involved?
There are rumors that Conor, I guarantee there's sites that have bets that will Conor be at WrestleMania.
What's the heavyweight title match?
Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins.
Okay. Are any of these like good matches?
It's the mains, bro.
I always preferred Royal Rumble to WrestleMania.
Yeah, of course, but it's different.
I went to WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania 17 here, but I went it was my buddy's bachelor party, and he loves wrestling, so we went and watched WrestleMania like 2-3 years ago. It was like 9 hours. It was a bit much.
It is a bit much. I've actually been to 4 WrestleManias.
Okay, both of the ones in Toronto.
Yes, that was 6 and 18.
I thought it was 17.
No, 18.
17 was in Houston.
And I also, I don't know, because my dad did some like side stuff with them. There was like a connection into there.
Like he drove an Uber? That was his side hustle?
No.
Oh.
I went to 5 Hogan Savage, 5 in Trump Plaza, Atlantic City.
Did you meet Trump?
No. And then it's literally one of my greatest childhood memories. My March like spring break was during when we were in San Diego visiting my grandparents, who people watch the football show, yada yada, we'll get that stuff. And WrestleMania 7 was in LA. That's the one that was supposed to be in the Coliseum, but they didn't like sell nearly enough tickets. That was their first try. Now they do like football stadiums. That's when they first tried to do it outside of Hogan Andre at 3. And like ticket sales were going horribly, and apparently like there's rumors that they faked like a bomb threat, and they went just like into like where the Kings play.
I'm trying to remember.
Some like
was WrestleMania 7
arena.
like Slaughter Warrior?
No, Slaughter Hogan, where Slaughter played like the Iraqi sympathizer.
That's right.
And it was like the Warrior Savage retirement match, the Roberts Martel like blindfold match.
That blindfold matches, by the way, not great.
That was a pretty good one. WrestleMania 7 being literally one of my greatest memories of my whole life. And obviously 6, Hogan Warrior at the Sky Dome.
What was 8 then? Was 8 Flair and Savage, or was that 10? Was that the middle of 10?
No, 10 was Hart, Luger, Yokozuna with the Sean Razor ladder at MSG.
But the year before WrestleMania 9 was also Brett Yoko, and Hogan came in and beat Yoko for the belt.
Yeah, that was Vegas.
Yeah, that was.
They did outdoors at Caesars. 8 was the Hoosier Dome, I want to say, and that was Savage Flair with the whole like Elizabeth affair thing.
That was like that was an awesome match. I think that was Piper Bret Hart too.
Yes, great. That was an amazing match. Wow. Okay. Well,
but what was the main event that year? It wasn't Savage Flair. That wasn't the main event.
It was Hogan Sid, and people were pissed.
Psycho Sid.
And all like the
Psycho Sid once pooped his tights.
Yeah, and all like the going back and like the wrestling like rehashing podcast, people are dumbfounded how they didn't let Flair and Hogan fight at Mania.
I can't recall them ever like in a marquee spot.
They did some WCW stuff when
I feel like that's after though.
When they first before Hollywood Hogan, when he was like out of retirement, we're bringing Hogan back. I think I'm going to be joining Gup to do some like WrestleMania and even some, maybe like a Masters tease.
I guess we're doing a pod trade because I'm doing the giant DraftKings show, like I mentioned with Raza and Rick Gaiman. That's going to come out on Friday. Plus other contributors are going to be a part of that. We're going to do our show on Monday. Then I'm going to re-up on the ownership and the DraftKings picks on Tuesday with Mr. Gup and potentially someone else too.
So we are probably going to hit like the most incredible niche of niches, which is going to be like a Masters WrestleMania crossover.
I mean, if you just want to host the show here, I can release it under the Pat Mayo Experience banner, your WrestleMania preview with Gup. You guys can simulcast.
Well, I'm not really sure. It's just going to be like, we're just throwing down, but there will be Mania talk and there'll be Masters talk. So I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but yeah, we could throw something down.
All right, cool. Geoff Fienberg, follow him on Twitter at @GFienberg. Anything else before we get out of here?
I assume people turned me off 6 minutes ago.
I got one. If people stuck around, the link is going to be live, so don't worry about checking back later. I just got it, so it'll be in the description of the podcast and video. 160-1. Adam Shank is playing well.
Okay. You're going to be loaded with first rounders.
I might just bet him. For some reason, I think he's Canadian. He's not. Corey Connors is. But I like Shank. Shank's playing well, man. Good ball striker. Even like played okay last week, but like not too great, so it kept his odds down. Shank. Maybe I won't bet Grayson. I'll just bet Werner and Shank 140 and 160.
Are you betting Hadley?
No. I bet Fratelli instead. And I don't get so many guys. I got once I got in on answer, then it kind of
because
I'm now far more invested in this than I wanted to be.
I don't think I am betting Hadley, but I was gonna say like I almost would have to like not be able to come in if Hadley won and you bet him.
I'll bet him and Ollie come in. Guess who won? All right, I'm Pat Mayo. That will do it. Get into those draws. I have over $1,000 to give away on the Masters show. That starts Thursday. It'll be Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the Masters. But before that, we have this show. We have tomorrow's show, the DraftKings show with Drew Matthews, Reed Fowler on Wednesday with the live chat, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the DraftKings YouTube channel, available later as well on the Pat Mayo Experience podcast feed. You'll find out how to get into all these draws, plus memberships to Fantasy National. There'll be one of those on the line. And just get a membership to Fantasy National right now. It's like $10 a week. You might as well do it if you're going to be spending. If you spend more than like $20 a week on DraftKings, I suggest you get in on fantasynational.com. You heard about all the winners. It's like another $75K this week. It's nuts. Someday I'll, cash in. I mean, I cashed in last year, but maybe I can cash in for the Masters. We'll see. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!